The way we handle money is changing all the time. And Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, told us this in 2020 about what would happen. On top of that, we now have proof from high-level people at big financial firms that we should also plan. Even the BIs. We are going to really break this down. I'm also going to tell you why Ripple and XRP will be a part of the new financial system, or at least have a role to play in it. All of you are welcome to the group. My name is Nick. If this video is your first time on the channel, I hope you decide to join by the end. We have a video from August 2020 that shows how to move money across walled grounds. All change, give money to what's going to happen. Look at this. Are you sure you can do it? Okay, it was built decades ago and is used for correspondent banking. It hasn't changed much. It works because related banks can quickly send messages to each other. To be honest, it now costs more to maintain that infrastructure. Following the financial crisis of 2009 and 2010, one of the things that changed was when the Bank of Dan and the Bank of Brad could. We would have what are called Nostro Vastro accounts if we wanted to do business across borders. When I used to deposit cash at the Bank of Dan, it added to my capital ratio positive. We decided that other savings at other banks might not be as safe as we thought after that financial crisis. So it doesn't matter anymore. That's why banks have shrunk. In the past 15 years, the number of ties between banks has dropped by 50%. Still, deals between countries around the world keep going down. That's what we think. Look, these technologies are from many years ago, but we can make them work better with today's internet-based technologies are from many years ago, but we can make them work better with today's internet technologies. Let's tell the truth. It's easy to get into crypto positions, but it's very hard to have a plan for when it's time to walk away with money. That's why I put out a free exit plan that you can use for any crypto position you take. The best thing about it is that I can already see the comments on this video. Nick, this was from 2020. It's been 4 years. Yeah. It's been exactly 4 years. We're talking about how the world's banking system has changed over time. Be a little more honest. Take a step back, grow up, and become an adult. How long does it take for things to change? Let's look at ISO 2000022 in a bigger picture. Okay. Garden walls are not what we want. On the other hand, we don't want these middlemen to be in the middle. We want to get rid of them completely. Look at this. A reason for a business or organization to deal with digital assets right now. I would talk about it in terms of actually spreading out a portfolio and making sure it has the right amount of each asset. If you're a big asset allocator, you want to make sure that your assets are spread out in a way that makes sense. We all strongly agree with it. It's not just AI. In fact, the change in digital assets is very real. So you want to give attention to a place that will have a huge upside, but it will also tell you. So an asset that spreads risk is important to me, and it will tell you about all the other things in your portfolio that it might affect. I want you to learn by setting aside a small amount of money each month. It shouldn't be too much that you get fired if there's a downdraft, but just enough that you pay attention. Any middleman, especially a centralized one, will be taken out of the picture at some point in the future. Spotify is the best model for me. Spotify takes 30 to 40% of the money that the content provider makes. Now, unless you're Taylor Swift, a 30 to 40% is enough for you. Right now, there's an application, a project, that tells artists that it will change the world. That's why I'm so excited to be in this place. If you sell content and I buy content, we should be able to work together. I'll charge you a percent, not 30 to 40% based on what that trade is. It will be years before they get Taylor Swift on it, but take a look at the geometric progression as more artists join, more artists join. I know what parts of my portfolio I need to pay attention to if I know how to track that process of disintermediation by standard asset classes. And she is totally right. Listen, let me quickly put Spotify in its proper place before we look at it. Okay, YouTube creators are making money off of their videos. They get paid for the things they write. Google gets half of it. 50% of the money made goes to Google alone. That's how Google gets paid by authors. 50% is paid to the makers. This is what content disintermediation means. 30% to 40% of Spotify. Once more, this is a big piece of the pie. Content makers, artists, and anyone else who makes something and sells it or even makes money off of it will do well in a world aka Web3. This is because middlemen like banks and payment processors will no longer get rich. All those times are over. They are no longer alive. And I say this because just like she said, it's changing not only the internet, but also the future of money. This comes up all the time. The Bees has given a very important breakdown of what they're doing. And this is for all of that. Who say, oh, it looks like nothing's happening. They want the whole system to be open. If they get their way, everyone will be able to bank. They want all of things to be linked together. In the same way that Ripple talks about the internet of value, interoperability, and linking everything, they want everything to be linked. This is called a multi-chain future. This is what we see over here. We suggest an idea for the internet. As an idea for the future of finance, different financial ecosystems would be linked together, like the internet. In fact, Ripple just told us that. By putting people and companies in charge of their own finances, the Fintranet would give them more power. Unified ledgers look like a good way to make this idea come true. Using tokenization and a digital-first approach, unified ledgers would not only make current financial transactions better, but they would also allow for completely new financial goods and transactions. We talked about the economic reasons. For the internet, as well as the technical, legal, and governmental building blocks it needs, along with that, we list 8 basic design factors that we believe should be a big part of the next banking system. As a funny side note, we now move on to the address given by Augustin Carstens, who is the general manager of the BI. Something cool might be there. It's not just tokenization or something like that. It's about what this really is. Okay, to begin, they give us their, if you will, giving anyone, including people and businesses, full power over their money. They have full power, which is what they say here. Can we believe it, right? We don't know. They work for the National Bank. We don't trust them. But we know that the internet wants to make banking services better in the same way. We see a system where people and companies could send any kind of money to anyone, anywhere in the world, at any time, on any device, and for any amount. Anyone would be able to do financial deals which would be cheap, safe, and almost instantaneous. To say it again, this would be a wide open system. There are no middlemen. That doesn't exist. Disintermediation is taking place. No one will be able to get through. Those brokers are not going to get any of the money. That is not there at all. That's where all of those expensive transaction fees and costs happen. We have seen that many financial services and tools are not available in many of these countries. This is especially true for people who live in remote places or don't make a lot of money. It's also common for people to have to deal with slow and expensive banking services when they can get to them. These show a number of problems with the structure, such as a lack of competition. It's public infrastructure that isn't up to par and jams caused by old systems that haven't been updated to meet the needs of today's economy. Once more, this simply shows that we need to help people who don't have bank accounts. Everyone needs to be able to get to this. We need to get rid of the middlemen who take advantage of people who pay them. This is where the change in banking that we've been told about for a long time starts to happen. They're telling you exactly what's going on even down here. It's important to do this now while the technology is still young enough to be useful before we get stuck in rigid institutional structures or walled gardens. We have similar ideas about how the FinchNet works. To get the most out of financial innovation, we need to get rid of the obstacles and silos that are currently in place in the system and put everything back together. There they are, those walled grounds. There are people in the middle who are eating and not doing anything. They are in the middle of the deal right now. We have a chance that will never come up again. This is the biz Tony of this, to look again at how the financial system is built. We should not ask what new financial tools we will use, but rather what the whole financial system of the future will look like. We should also figure out how to take a huge step forward to get there. Once more, we are living through history. We are seeing history happen right in front of our eyes. The whole system is changing. It is changing whether you want it to or not. Now that we're done, I hope you guys like this movie. If you did, please leave a like and turn on notifications so that you can see more free material. If you want to know more, you can follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord right below this text. That being said, guys, it's Nick. Thanks for seeing. Goodbye.